Yo, haven't freestyled in a while. Fuck it, let's do it. For no reason, just better listen. Cause I ain't doing this shit for commission. And you might get me in the mood to start dissing, and then I'll start dishing out dishes at you like it was your turn to clean up after the mess. And then Adam Stark is gonna start grabbing your neck, and I'll snap it in half as fast as I would be if I was cashing out checks at a bank that knew me first, and I was the only person in the line, because you can't get this guy's style of inquisitive rhymes, and I'm just gonna start making you start listening, guys, harder than you ever have before in the past, because I'll start to kick your ass, and then I'll start to take out a couple of liquor flasks, and I'll throw it at you, and then it's going to break into many pieces, and the shards of it are going to get you scarred as shit. You're not going to be able to remember where your apartment is. That's how bad it's going to damage you, and then you're not going to be able to understand what Adam would do if he was in the situation on the reverse end of it, because what I would do is I would take those shards of glass, and I would reverse the ending of it. I would make a new ending. I would change it. I would rearrange it. I would do something as if it was the strangest type of idea you ever heard of and you ever came across, like you would do if you were Jesus coming back today, and that is just a way that it is lost, because Jesus has been lost from our hearts, and then our spirits and our guidances have been losing us because they go in different places in the areas that we haven't been able to find it yet, but it will happen differently in the future. Right now I'm just in a negative mode, but that's okay, because Adam Stark is great. If you know that there's a way that it goes when it comes with me is I'm very fickle. I go from this place to that way, this area to that one, and that's not going to be able to change, because if I did, then that would change the effect of the way the future is going to end up, because what's going to happen is you're going to get pinned up like you got a fucking achievement or a plaque on the wall, but then what's going to happen is I'm going to put your ass back on that wall faster than I would if your fat ass would just fall off of a cliff, and there happened to be the wind going in the downward direction. That's how fast it was. I get so fucking crazy with these rhymes, I could just fucking spin around and kick you, and you won't be able to get through this fucking pain that you are going to feel. Not going to be okay in the end of it. I'm going to tell you and get you to the, I'm going to let you know that right away in the first part, before I even get to the next part, because what's going to happen is I'm going to hit you with darts, and it's going to be fucking fast, and it's going to be disgusting. I'm not going to say farts, I'm going to say sharks. That's right, fucking sharks, as big as sharks, and it's as disgusting as it gets, but that's just how it starts. It gets even sicker than that once I get further in it. Then you're going to mix it with vomit, and you put some Gerber in it, and I'm going to put it in a fucking bowl, and I'm going to fucking mix it up and spin it up, and then I'm going to spit it up, and then I'm going to put it in the microwave, heat it up to 350 degrees. I said microwave, but I said 350 degrees. I know that's a different thing, but that's the objective of it, is if I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put it oven. I'm going to make sure that I take it out of the oven, and I'm going to throw it at you, and then it's just going to have your face covered, and then you're not going to wonder what happened, what if you got out of the situation, but that's okay, because this is only an imaginary sequence. But what if it wasn't imaginary? What if it was the real thing? And that's what happened. I'm going to bring it to you, then I'm going to start hurting more than just your feelings. I'll fucking take down you weak ass bitches. I hate all of you, most of you motherfuckers. You don't know my business, but you want to get in this, and you just think that you can start teaching me the interest, the ins and outs of this shit, but you can't do that because I know the directions. You don't. You should follow directions and do that now, because if you don't, then what's going to happen is you're going to be condoned as somebody that isn't known in this fucking rare art form that I am doing, because I am known to create these fucking poems that are deadly, and they're not poems like, spiritual guidances and nice things that you're going to rhyme with this. And Adam Stark isn't just thinking of words that's going to make it sound better, as if you had fixed your sinuses that have been broken for fucking years since I fucking punched you so hard in the nose that I broke more than just the nose bone. I actually broke other things behind you, like your chromosomes, so it happened to hurt you worse than you're fucking getting broken up on Valentine's Day, and the same day after you got divorced and you lost 89% of your shit, and your kid was also found, and then you became fostered, and then you lost her, and then you didn't. I happen to know it was a girl somehow. I don't know how that happened, but I just, took a guess, and it was looking like it wasn't going to become something like you were cooking a mess, and it just was looking less likely to be the case, because Adam Stark is giving you things that are so horrifying that you immediately are like, I don't want to remember this. I want this memory to be erased. I don't want to remember this crazy fucking experience that he's given me, because what you were happening is you're living in some kind of a fucking horrible epiphany that you realized, oh my god, you ain't shit to me, the person you've been dissing anonymously. You can't even show your face, but you're promising me that you're going to fucking kick my ass. Yeah, I would love to just see that try and happen, because what would happen is this guy that is rapping right now is currently going to take that knife that your hand has held it in, and I'm going to take that, and I'm going to show you a new meaning of the experience for flexibility, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to willingly pull it out, and then start a bone ripping spree. It's going to take one by one. Here goes your fucking ulna and your other bone. I forget what the fuck it's called, but that's okay, because that is a whole nother known source of information in the medical field. But it's okay, because I'm going to stop you, because you're dead to me still. Even if you're still breathing, you're dead to me, as saying you don't mean nothing. And that is going out to the haters and the people that are giving me negative prayers against me. And that's not going to stop because it's not going to tempt me. Because I'm just going to keep going and going and going. And I'm never going to be empty. Even if you fucking, pay me to stop. Even if you bribe me or blackmail me. That's not going to stop because Adam Stark is always going to be there. Because he's ad-veiling. He's always exhaling, coming up with new rhymes, and it's just it's a covalent, like a fucking bond in a science experiment. And you're hearing this, and you're going to start fearing this because you're not going to be able to do anything against me. I'm going to fucking throw you off the pyramids. And that's just the top of the point of this that I'm trying to make. It's the pyramid top of the point I'm trying to make. Is if I was one of those people way back in those times, the Jewish people that were forced to make it as slaves. And that's what's going to happen is I'm going to bring you back to those different types of days. And I'm going to do something different. I'm going to change history. I'm going to stop them from being the ones that were in misery. I'm going to make you do it by your fucking self. And I hope that when the time your back breaks, they'll take off your vertebrae and put it on the fucking shelf and make you look at it and sniff it. Do all of that. I said something different. You didn't expect me to say that, and that was exquisite. You thought I was going to rhyme it this way or that way or make the story go in a way that it would make sense to you, but fuck it, you can't do what I do. My imagination is different, and it's better than yours, and you think that you can do it, but your metaphors aren't even, 1/10 of the force that I am coming with because you motherfuckers are sucking dick, and not for the joy of it, but you're doing it because that is your fucking penance that you have to do, and you're going to be fucking gross as soil and green and that type of shit because you're annoying me, and you're just not going to survive at this fucking level of rapping that I'm doing because I'm just happen to be knocking your bitch asses back into the fucking tombs that you came from, and then fucking Tomb Raider couldn't even find your bitch asses. That's how bad you're going to be. You're going to be like Jimmy Hoffa. You're never going to be found. You're never going to be discovered. You'll never be around. You'll just fucking do what I've been doing, unfortunately, is never being discovered because my views are fucking little, and they're never going to hover up above to the fucking viral and spiked views that we get on other fucking channels and sources of places of entertainment because Adam Stark just says shit that's crazy, and he means it because he's taken the other fucking horrible lyrics and I taint it because my lyrics are actually good, so therefore it taints the source that it came from. Do you believe that? Is that something that you wouldn't be able to brainstorm? Is that something that you couldn't have come out and figured out yourself? Because, you're just too fucking stupid to figure out that somebody who's smart, who has good lyrics, isn't able to, break out in the music industry because they would fear it and they would see it as something that, if they're fucking cooking the way that they want to, they would sear it, and it's just something that doesn't work out the way it should be because the people that are talented, they get fucking little views, they get minuscule, they don't make it past middle school, and in a sense of not education, but in the sense of getting to a better destination, as in the higher views, the people that should be getting tons of views and notoriety, they don't get that shit because that the flying vehicles are going around me and they're trying to fucking shoot me down from the air above me, but then all of a sudden I look up and there is hovering a fucking guided halo with angel wings, and that someone's going to save me and put me out the way from this crazy fucking place for me, and they're going to save my ass from getting the little to no views I get on YouTube and online as it is. They're going to fix that. They're going to fix that shit. They're going to fix it fast as it could be because what they're going to do is they're going to fix the election like all the elections have been in the past. I'm saying most of them at least. I mean, don't try and get pissed off and start saying Adam is spitting something venomous and mad. I'm saying something that you don't agree with. Okay, have a different opinion and we can laugh. We can cheer about it. We can have a simple disagreement. That's okay. That's something that normal that we can hear and we can, think of different ways just to, understand that there's a smear campaign involved and that can stop anybody from, listening to their words and their stupid little balls. They're trying to squeak and make a little pipsqueak, speak his opinion, and nobody else wants to listen to him because, that just is the agreement with the masses is to ignore the little guy. That's what happens. Cut out the middleman and just pick on the little guy. But that's not going to happen because that is too simplified. I'm saying give everybody a voice and then let's decide it fair and square. And that's the way it should be because, there is where we have ways that can work out in the future. And I just said that because most of you motherfuckers that hate me for no reason are fucking losers anyway. So fuck all you bitch ass fucking haters. I hate all of you for hating on me for no reason. Fuck all of y'all. Hope you stop breathing. Everyone else, peace.